Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 5 Reddit stories for you. Reddit AITA stories that sparked family feuds and chaos. Story 1. My 16-year-old sister called my wife Maid, and I lost it. So my little sister babysat our kids so my wife and I could finally have a date night, and she repaid us by insulting my wife to her face. Let me set the scene. My wife and I, we rarely get a night out, you know how it is with 2 little kids. So my sister, she's 16, offered to watch the kids while we went on a date. We were so excited, honestly, it felt like a mini vacation. We come home, she's already put the kids to bed, which was sweet of her. So we're all just sitting around, chatting, having a normal night. And then out of nowhere she says, and I quote, "The kids are so cute for having parents that are so mid." Now, I know she probably meant it as some kind of joke, like a backhanded compliment, but it did not land that way at all. My wife kind of laughed it off at first, but I could see her face change. And then my sister kept going. She started listing things, like how my wife's style is outdated, how I've let myself go a little since having kids, just piling on. It wasn't even a joke anymore, it felt like she was genuinely trying to tear us down. My wife got quiet, which is not like her, she's usually pretty thick-skinned. So I told my sister to stop. She rolled her eyes and said she was just being honest and that we needed to hear it. That's when I told her it was time for her to go home. She acted shocked, like I was overreacting, and said she was just kidding around and that I couldn't take a joke. But here's the thing. It wasn't just one comment. She kept twisting the knife even after I asked her to stop. And this isn't the first time she's said little things about my wife, little digs here and there that I brushed off because I figured she was just a teenager being a teenager. But this time it was blatant, and it was in our home, in front of us, right after we trusted her with our kids. Now my mom is calling me saying I overreacted, that she's just a kid and I embarrassed her by kicking her out. My sister is telling everyone I flipped out over nothing. But my wife was really hurt, and honestly so was I. It's one thing to tease, it's another thing to sit in someone's house, after they did you a favor by trusting you with their kids, and repeatedly insult them to their face. My wife thinks I did the right thing standing up for her. My mom thinks I overreacted and humiliated a 16-year-old. And now there's this weird tension at family gatherings because everyone's picked a side. I keep going back and forth on whether I should have just laughed it off like my wife initially did, or if kicking her out was exactly what needed to happen. So I gotta ask, was I wrong to kick my sister out over this, or was that comment about our kids being cute despite having mid-parents exactly the kind of thing that deserved a consequence? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. I taught my boyfriend to hike and now he's better than me at my own hobby. So I turned my boyfriend into a hiking and camping addict, and now I kind of hate what I created. Let me back up. For years, hiking, budget travel, wild camping, basically going out and having adventures, that's been my whole thing. It's who I am. My boyfriend, when we met, he'd never really done any of it. He was overweight, kind of sedentary, and I was the one who introduced him to all of it, the trails, the road trips, the through hikes, all the little tricks and tips I picked up over years of doing this stuff. And honestly, it's been amazing to watch. He got fit, he fell in love with it, it became a huge part of his personality. I was proud of that, genuinely. Like, I helped someone find something that changed their life. That felt really good. But here's where it gets complicated. Lately he's been out hiking me. Like, literally leaving me in the dust on trails I used to dominate. He's planning trips now without me, researching gear I've never even heard of, joining hiking groups and forums, talking to people who've been doing this way longer than either of us. He's become genuinely knowledgeable, maybe even more knowledgeable than me at this point, about stuff I taught him. And I know how this sounds. I know it sounds petty. Like, isn't this what I wanted? Didn't I want him to love this thing that I love? But there's this feeling I can't shake, like I created my own replacement in my own hobby. It's like I handed him the keys to my identity and now he's driving it better than I ever did. It came to a head last weekend. We were planning a trip and he basically took over the whole itinerary, picked the trail, picked the campsite, decided on gear, and when I tried to suggest something, he kind of brushed it off because he'd already researched a better option. And I just felt this wave of, I don't even know, resentment. Sadness. Like I don't even recognize this hobby as mine anymore. I tried to talk to him about it and he got defensive, said I should be happy for him, that I'm the one who always says more people should get into this stuff and get outside. And logically, he's right. I do believe that. But emotionally I feel like I lost something that used to be just mine, something that made me special or unique, at least in our relationship. My friends think I'm being ridiculous, honestly. They say I should be thrilled my boyfriend is healthy and engaged in a shared hobby instead of jealous about who's better at reading a trail map. And maybe they're right. But there's also this quiet grief in realizing the thing you built together doesn't feel like yours anymore. So am I the bad guy here for feeling weird about my boyfriend getting really into and really good at the one hobby that used to be entirely mine? Or is this just something I need to get over? Story 3. My sister's family makes $150,000 and wants me to co-sign their daughter's loans. So my sister and her husband make over $150,000 a year combined, and they want me to co-sign their daughter's student loans because their own credit is trash. Let me explain how we got here. My niece is heading off to college this fall. Because her parents make good money, she doesn't qualify for any federal financial aid, which, fine, that's just how the system works. So yesterday, my sister and her husband go to the bank to try to get private student loans for her. But here's the catch, since my niece is 18, she needs a co-signer. Her parents tried to be the co-signers themselves, but they got denied. Why? Because their credit is genuinely a disaster. My sister has over $100,000 in her own student loan debt that she's been deferring for years, and her husband isn't much better. They are, and I say this with love, absolutely terrible with money. Always spending beyond their means, always finding a way to justify the next big purchase while their actual financial foundation is falling apart. So after getting denied, guess who they called? Me. Their solution was for me to co-sign the loans instead. And look, I love my niece, I really do. She's a great kid, hardworking, done nothing wrong here. This isn't about her. This is about me being asked to put my own financial future on the line for two people who have consistently proven they cannot manage money responsibly. If I co-sign these loans and they, or even my niece down the road, miss payments or default, that debt becomes mine. My credit takes the hit. My future gets tangled up in their financial mess. And knowing my sister's history, knowing how they operate, I have zero confidence that this wouldn't eventually land squarely on my shoulders. When I said no, you would have thought I told them I hated my niece personally. My sister called me selfish, said I was letting pride get in the way of family, said this was going to ruin her daughter's future and it would be my fault. Her husband hasn't spoken to me since. Even my mom got looped in and gave me the whole "family helps family" speech, completely ignoring the fact that my sister and her husband created this problem themselves through years of financial irresponsibility. I offered alternatives. I said I'd help my niece look into cheaper school options, community college for the first 2 years, scholarships, even offered to help her personally with a small amount toward books or supplies, something manageable that wouldn't put my whole financial life at risk. But no, that wasn't good enough. They wanted the co-sign, full stop, because obviously that gives my niece the most flexibility and the most expensive options open. I feel awful for my niece, I really do, because none of this is her fault. But I also feel like I'm being asked to inherit consequences for decisions I never made and never agreed to. My sister keeps saying that's what family does, but I keep thinking, since when does family mean signing away your own financial security for someone else's bad decisions? So tell me, was I wrong to refuse to co-sign, or is protecting my own financial future in this situation actually the responsible thing to do? Story 4. My brother has 4 kids by 3 women and ignores one completely, but wants praise. So my brother wants a medal for being a good dad, but he's got a 9-year-old kid he's never even bothered to see. Let me lay out the whole picture because it's honestly kind of wild. My brother is 36 years old. He has a 13-year-old with his ex. He has a 7-year-old with his current wife. He lives with his wife and her 3 kids from a previous marriage, so he's basically playing stepdad there too. And then, separately, he has a 9-year-old with another ex that he has absolutely nothing to do with. His excuse for that last one is always the same line: his mom doesn't let me see him. And every time he says it, my whole family just nods along like that settles it, like there's nothing more he could possibly do. But here's the thing, he's never taken her to court for custody or visitation. He's never fought for any legal right to see this kid. He's never even sent consistent child support without being chased down for it. He just says the mom won't let him and treats that as the end of the conversation. Meanwhile, he wants constant recognition, constant praise, for being, quote, a good dad, because he shows up for the kids who happen to live under his roof. Birthday posts, family dinners where everyone gushes about what an amazing father he is, my mom bragging to her friends about her son the devoted dad. And every single time, I think about that 9-year-old out there who has a father who has decided he simply doesn't count. So at a family gathering recently, when everyone was doing their usual routine of praising him, I said something. I said I don't think you get to be called a good dad when you have a child you've made 0 effort to see in years. The table went dead silent. My brother got defensive immediately, brought up the whole "his mom won't let me" thing again, and my mom jumped in saying I was being cruel and that I don't understand the complexities of co-parenting with a difficult ex. But here's what gets me. If he genuinely wanted to see this kid, there are legal avenues. There's family court. There's mediation. There are actual concrete steps a father can take if a mother is truly and unreasonably blocking access. He's taken none of them. Not one. It's always just been easier to say she won't let him and move on with his life raising the kids that are convenient to raise. Now the family's split. Some of them think I was out of line airing this out at a family dinner, that it wasn't the time or place, that I embarrassed him in front of everyone. Others have privately told me they've thought the same thing for years but never had the guts to say it out loud. My brother now barely speaks to me, and my mom thinks I'm the villain of the family for daring to bring up the kid nobody else wants to talk about. But I keep coming back to this one thought: that kid didn't ask to be born into this, and he definitely didn't ask to be the one his father conveniently forgets about while getting celebrated for the ones he didn't abandon. So was I wrong to call my brother a deadbeat in front of the whole family, or was somebody finally saying the truth long overdue? Story 5. I threatened to quit my best friend's wedding over the Maid of Honor title. So my best friend picked her brother to be her man of honor instead of me, and I actually threatened to quit her wedding entirely over it. Okay, let me give you the backstory. My best friend and I have been close since 7th grade, that's like 20 years of friendship at this point. When I got married a few years ago, she was my maid of honor, no question, it just made sense. So when she got engaged, I just assumed the role would be mine too. That's how these things go, right? You return the favor. Instead, she tells me she wants her brother to be her man of honor. Okay, a little surprising, a little different, but honestly, whatever, I was a bit offended if I'm being honest, but I told myself it was fine. Weddings are personal, people can choose whoever they want to stand up there with them, and honestly I figured this actually worked out in my favor: less money, less stress, less planning on my end. No complaints there, or so I thought. Then I find out that even though her brother has the official title, I'm still expected to do every single maid of honor duty. Planning the bachelorette party, organizing the bridal shower, coordinating with the other bridesmaids, handling all the logistics and headaches that come with that role, but with none of the recognition or title that comes with it. Her brother gets to stand up there, get toasted, get all the credit, while I do all the actual behind-the-scenes work. When I brought this up to her, gently at first, I said something like, "Hey, if I'm doing all the MOH responsibilities, maybe I should have some kind of title too, or at least be acknowledged for it." She brushed it off, said her brother being man of honor was already decided and that I was overreacting, that it shouldn't matter who has the title as long as things get done. But it does matter to me. It's not about being petty over a word, it's about the fact that I am doing all the labor of the maid of honor role while someone else gets to just show up and take the glory for it. I told her that if I'm not getting the official title, or at least equal recognition for the work I'm doing, I don't think it's fair for me to keep doing all these tasks essentially for free while someone else reaps the benefits. That's when I told her, if this doesn't get resolved, I might just step back from the bridal party altogether. She was shocked, called me selfish, said I was making her wedding about me, that this was supposed to be one of the happiest times of her life and I was ruining it with, quote, title drama. But here's how I see it. If she wants her brother up there for sentimental reasons, that's completely her choice and I respect that. But she can't have it both ways, keeping the emotional and symbolic role for him while offloading every single practical responsibility onto me without any acknowledgement. That doesn't feel like friendship, that feels like being used. Now we're kind of in this Cold War where she thinks I threatened to ruin her wedding over jealousy, and I think I was just asking for basic fairness after 20 years of being there for her. So tell me honestly, was I wrong to threaten stepping back unless I got some recognition, or is it completely reasonable to expect either the title or the credit if you're doing all the work anyway? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.